Hello, everybody. It's Graham Cofe with another My Music Now. I'm very excited about this one today. I'm going to be speaking to Ida Kudo in a minute. First, there she is. First, we're going to have this quick video from the wonderful people at Analog Trash. Please do watch it. And if you feel like it, do go and have a look at their website afterwards as well. They'd be really happy that you did. Ida, thanks so much for joining me. Where are you coming from?
Yeah, so I am sitting right now in Copenhagen.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm half Japanese, half Danish, and at the moment I mainly live in Copenhagen.
Yeah, but now listen, we need to know a little bit more about that backstory. How does someone become out of half Danish, half Japanese? How does that happen?
Yeah, so it sounds romantic anyway, but
Yeah.
my dad, he was a dentist, and my mom, she was playing piano, and he was doing like a dentist tour thing in Japan, in Tokyo. And then he was with his colleagues, they were going to this restaurant, really, really fancy, like 30th floor.
Wow.
And my mom, she was playing, field music on a grand piano, and that is where they met.
That is the most romantic story.
Yeah.
And was it love at first teeth? I mean, because that's the thing about dentists. I'm married to a practice manager of a dental practice who has nursed all of her life, and anybody in the dental profession, they go straight for the teeth. They don't look at eyes; they look at teeth. So, have your parents ever discussed that? Did your dad immediately look at the mouth?
Well, you just take a look at my smile, you can see the results.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
No, they didn't discuss that. Actually, when he came over, at that point, back in the days, my mom, she wasn't really able to speak English, and my dad wasn't able to speak Japanese. So I heard something about some napkins that she drew some nice little drawings of some flowers and things like that. So, yeah.
Oh, that would look great on an album cover at some point. Like little napkin messages. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe there's a song in there as well. Maybe you could write a song, Napkin Messages, at some point.
Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Talk us through your love of music. Where did that start?
So I started playing violin when I was 4, like classical violin, and the style was through the Suzuki method. If you know that, that's like a teaching style in classical music and how to learn an instrument well. And I think quite quickly I found out that I did have like loads of musicality inside, loads to express, and that need to express and that connection emotionally with the music was something that I had straight away. And then that musicality kind of changed style and instrument when I moved from classical to popular music.
What made the change happen? What made the change happen? Was it what you were listening to? Was it outside influences? Was it a group of friends? What sort of brought
Yeah, so actually, everybody thought I was going to have a career with the violin. But the violin is like a crazy instrument. It really demands so much technique. And I had loads of, I got like also, it's very perfectionist. All the classical world is very perfectionist. So there's not that much room to just like express yourself completely as you are. You kind of need to go through all these great technical mountains of stuff you need to learn. So lots of tension in my back, And because kind of like the mental pressure of having to do things so perfect, and that pressure, it was just it got stuck in my back, and at the end I was actually not able to play anymore. So I had to quit. And then when I quit, by coincidence or by accident, I joined a gospel music camp to sing gospel. And I was just fortunate that there was a guy who was like a conductor, and he was really, really good. And it was like pushing a button, and all of a sudden I was just like, "Ah!" All of the emotion and musicality and everything I wanted to express that had been held back from all the, perfectionist violence stuff, it just like came out like a rip. And then I kind of found my instrument, and that was the crossover to the popular music.
Yeah. Having said that, in your music, you can hear your violin background as well. Would you say that? Because actually you can hear the way that you kind of, unlike a lot of popular music where it just, sits on a beat or on a groove and it just literally, boom, 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 boom along. There's elements of your music where you sort of chop and change, and it's like, you've got these kind of you've got these intonations where it's like, hitting against each other, and that comes more from the kind of classical side of things, which I absolutely love. Yeah, would you say that that's true, that you've kind of meshed things?
Well, first of all, if the violin that you can hear, that you can tell that that's like a string, violin string on the recordings, that is me playing that. Because like, we're on a budget. Who's gonna play the violin? I can play violin. I'm gonna play the violin. So it's me. Like in the recent single, there's a little boom, boom,
Yeah.
that's actually me playing that here in my apartment. And then yeah, lots of it is from the classical music, the whole kind of richness of details on harmonies and details on hooks and details on anything. And then of course also my collaboration with the producer that I've been cooking with is also having the kind of style of like making it very rich. So that's how it happens.
Well, what you end up with, when people listen to your music, and please, people, if you're listening, do go and check out Ida's music afterwards if you haven't already. But what you end up with is something which ultimately I love, which is that you can't be pigeonholed at all. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is really great. But what you do have is you can hear your influences, and you can hear what you have produced is a really strong sound, and you can just kind of feel all of those different textures and influences all coming through. But you've created your own unique sort of melting pot of music, which is ultimately what any artist wants to do. Yeah, you should be really proud of yourself.
Thank you so much. And it's very, very wonderful to hear that, because that was like what we got to do. That was the aim. It's kind of like to get all the influences in there, but to make it like a unique sound. And also these songs, they have a lot of work in them. So it's been done very thoroughly. So I really appreciate that you notice it. That's definitely like a big, big tick from the producer and me and our collaboration. So yeah.
Oh no, it's very good. Where are your influences musically outside of the classical world? What artists kind of have inspired you over the years?
Yeah, I have a very funny story with inspiration, because when I was a kid and when I'm home all the time, I lived at home. My mom and dad, they would solely listen to classical music, solely, nothing else. So I came from a home that was like quite in a strange way around music. It was very conservative, which means that there's loads of music that I'd never heard before, like music and like legendary great artists that I'd never heard. So things came like, it's almost like a person you never met before, and then all of a sudden you meet this person. So at the beginning, I remember Michael Jackson was like a huge epiphany, but all, actually, my biggest epiphany was Bob Marley for some reason. Um, I think it was also of the whole, I don't know, philosophical side of things, and connecting that philosophical side of music as a messenger, music as a tool to something big. I think that was something that really was like, wow, for me. So that was Bob Marley. Then I had a whole epiphany with Björk. And yeah, she was
Yeah.
like a massive, massive, like role model to me in so many ways, in so many levels. And all of her first records, they were like outstanding to my musical development. And then later on,
What
it
was
was
it about
quite,
Björk? Was it the deconstruction? I mean, for me, that's the one thing that Björk always brings to the table. She kind of almost deconstructs music and then puts it back together again in her own world. Was that it for you? The way that she kind of just go, oh, actually, I'm gonna.
yeah, I think that is one way to put it. I think another way to put it is that in Björk's music, like those records, Debut and Homogenic and Post and what were they called? Also Vespertine, that there is a very strong, especially in the first records, there's a really strong catchy element, like a pop element, but at the same time it's so uncompromised, and it's so much her crazy nature womanness in it. And I think that was really
Mm,
what really strong edge of like uncompromising character, uncompromising female character, also expressing a different kind of female power. It was not, the
yes,
female power that, that's first to, that's, that evolves around like your body, or that you're attractive to men or things like that. She's got like a completely different kind of power. And
well,
I
if
think
you
I was,
complain once more, you'll meet an
yeah.
army of me.
Ah,
That's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing.
yeah.
And you talk about those themes within your own music as well, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely have searched for finding my own kind of the strength of my own voice. Where does that come from? And this, I
Mm.
mean, when I say voice, I mean not just my physical voice, but like my, what I want to say as well.
Your
And
voice to speak out into the world, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I think I'm just very in tune and attracted to a kind of a feminine strength that doesn't lean towards, old school get the man's desire kind of, strength, but a different kind of strength. And I've always been attracted, like musically, also to very kind of also strong women like Missy Elliott, or Erica Badu, or yeah, women like that. So
Yeah. They were influences as well.
yeah,
From
yeah,
an
yeah,
empowerment point of view, as opposed to necessarily just a musical point of view.
exactly. And I guess also some kind of like very strong integrity. Um, Also some kind of a bossiness, like Missy Elliott, for instance. Like I love her. Like what was it? Under
Listen to
Construction.
me.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's just like there's you can't touch me. I mean she's the boss, and I felt like that kind of integrity. Also, Erica Badu has a lot. But yeah, Björk has it just a complete own crazy ass way. Yeah.
When you perform your own songs, do you feel more empowered as you're performing them as well, because of the message that you're putting out there as well? Do you actually, look, most people when they sing, even if they're quite shy or quite introverted in themselves, feel that they can sit behind the song a little bit? But do you actually feel, because the message is so empowering, do you feel like the strength of your own song helping you deliver perhaps more than you would necessarily be like if you were walking down the road?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that's also, I mean, one why an artist should take loads of time and like really put effort into making music that you really feel is great. Because it's gotta be great for you to really, feel like the song can carry you when you, for instance, perform it live. And live is such a funny thing because you never quite know what happened, and you never quite know what the atmosphere is going to be like. You never know what something happens to you, and sometimes it's like the whole atmosphere just opens to you and you get like an extra gear, and sometimes it doesn't, and that's really frightening. So you never know what happens, but if you have a really, really good song, you have something you can really lean on. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's true. I mean, you hear a lot of singers say that what they need to do is sit inside the song. You
Yeah.
know, and a lot of people assume actually that the art of a great performance is somebody learning to perform, but actually I actually think the art of a great performance is learning to sit in the song and just let the song take you to that place, and then the great performance comes out of that.
Exactly.
And it's probably a difficult thing for a lot of people that have never sung on the stage to understand. Unless you've been there, you probably don't really understand what that feels like. But it's both empowering and liberating at the same time, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, I think if you observe the artist that you think is the absolute greatest artist of all artists, and you observe them live, maybe you can get that sense that the song is serving the artist in a way. This song is serving the passion and is serving the creative and artistic expression that's the fire in the artist, and then it comes out that way instead of the artist trying to sing the song. And like a great artwork, or Freddie Mercury, or even like people that don't necessarily have like the most perfect voice. Now I was just saying Bob Marley, for instance, but when he sings, you don't think of a singer, but the song is like his expression is everything, and the song is like coming out of that place where he wants to express. And also loads of rock bands, for instance. I really like Joy Division, for instance, and that voice as well is like, okay, that's, you can't just make somebody else sing that song. It's it comes from that place.
No. Oh my word! Yeah, you are picking very emotive singers as inspirations. It is emotion in music an incredibly important part of it for you?
I think for me, it's like it's almost everything. Almost everything.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, almost everything.
Emotion, message. Those two things are the kind of two real takeaways. In terms of,
well, I think when that release happens, when that true emotion is released, the magic of it is it doesn't only release within the artist, it releases within the audience. So that's like the purpose. The purpose is to get relief and get release. And it's different what kind of emotion it is, but I think that's really the purpose. So and that happens when the artist can do within themselves. When that happens within the artist, it happens within the audience. And that's when you have beautiful unity of artist and audience. And it's just really about the expression and the release and the emotion.
Love that. You're working on an album. How's it going?
Oh, yeah. But if I can be completely honest, I got so much to do with admin at the moment. And I mean, the time suffers a little bit for the album. So, but we have some really good drafts from, we made lots of drafts for this release of these songs, of this EP. And we chose some, so we still some that want they want to be created and they want to be finished, but they were not chosen for this, body of work. So they will go to the next body of work.
Ah, are you independently releasing this? Are you releasing it on a label? What are you doing?
Yeah. So this body of work is released through a small independent record label in Denmark. Yeah.
What are they named? What are they called? Can we name them? Can we give
Sure,
them
of course. They are
can we give
called
them a shout?
Nordic Music Society, called Copenhagen
Brilliant.
based.
Cool.
Yeah.
Please do tag them as this goes out, because we love to give the small independent labels a good shout out. They don't get the publicity,
Absolutely. And like, what you can get as an artist from independent label, what you can get, one of the most important thing you can get is the creative freedom. There's not someone saying you need to necessarily, like, it needs to be this and that, you need to change this and that, you need to change this and that about yourself. You can't go on this journey, you try to evolve all these things as an artist. You kind of need to fit in this path. That's like sometimes often what happens with like major labels. One great thing about an indie label, if they're that sort of indie label, is that they really want the artist to, evolve and develop and, create greatness, like, and have the freedom to really create, So, yeah.
One of the things I would say though is, having heard your music, and it's such a distinctive sound and such a strong sound, is that it would, and I don't know how you feel about this, but obviously one place where an independent artist can actually make some money these days, because there isn't a lot of money in music, is by getting it into things like adverts. Would you see your music going into adverts at all? And what would you avoid? What would you avoid? Because obviously the artist gets a choice.
If I should avoid anything, that would be some, for some political purpose that I don't support. I wouldn't do that. But if you want the advert, for I don't know, a TV series or something, I've done that a lot already with some of my old music. Been in Starbucks and Victoria's Secret and Selling Sunsets, and they, like, pretty good. Audi used one of my songs for, like,
Yeah.
This is the cool car. So, and I actually think, I'm pretty amused. I think it's really fun to see, like, a very cool car and then you hear your music in the back. So, yeah, and honestly, I'm very, very, very grateful for synchronization, because it's so hard to earn money, and it's actually a platform we can earn money, and for instance, all the time and effort you put into a song, and maybe it's not, like, maybe the song is old now, so it's not the song that's being played on the radio, etc. But then, for instance, somebody wants to use it for an advert, and then you earn money for the song that you created maybe some years ago, and you can still earn money on the song. So I think synchronization is great.
I think synchronization is great, and I think it's something that a lot of artists need to focus a little bit more attention on now, because it's a way of cutting through the noise as well, isn't it? It's actually quite difficult with the amount of music that's being produced out there at the moment. The normal distribution channels of putting it online, wherever it is on the streaming platform, it's very easy for it to get lost in the ether, whereas and especially, I think, if someone produces a really nice piece of art as part of that, and besides which, it's quite nice if you get a free car out of it. I'm sure Georgia Smith is really pleased with her Audi in her latest advert. It's great. Cars are expensive these days, right? Cars are really expensive. So
I'm looking forward to get that car then, I guess.
Yeah, you're looking forward to it.
Yeah,
where haven't you been musically yet, but where you would like to go? Who would you like to work with? Maybe in terms of orchestration, because I could see that you'd really love to do that. So, or production, or where would you like to, if you've got all the money in the world, I've just given it to you, boom, where would you love to go?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. You know what I would love to do? I think this is what I'd love to do. I think I'd love to make a wonderful team, and love to build like a real team. And this team needs to be like real musicians. So even though it's a producer, it needs to be a musician producer. And I want to put together a team. We would go, for instance, I mean, one of the great influence on this body of work was Graceland by Paul Simon. And
Oh,
I really want to find all my inspiration in my Japanese roots, but musically, I'm like, it's hard to find. It's not like Japanese, culture and music is not so much evolving around rhythm. So I'm lacking that whole, rhythmic exploration. So I think probably I would want to go to some place in Africa, for instance, the West Coast, where Jimba is like the place, in Kora, and maybe also South Africa for for uh, um, Kora, for even the play the style of guitar, how you play guitar. And I also think it's so interesting with like a culture that has a different root in how they harmonize, and how they, how you build like harmony wise and melody wise, how you build a song. You don't build it from the Western traditional music system. And so I think that kind of meeting, I mean, it's very inspired by Graceland, but I just thought it would be amazing and fun. And for instance, I've have such a strong attachment to string instruments because of my background as a violin player. And something like Kora is just it. I can tell my heart is very direct with an instrument like that, because I've had that string sound from I was 4 years old. So I think Kora is beautiful. I don't know how you would implement it in a popular music song, because I don't want to make it like cliche, like now I do a world instrument and
oh,
I
and
have
here's
this
this little core
song.
bit, yeah.
I would want to. It had to be used in a way that's like, this is the way you would use this instrument for this kind of pop song. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not,
yeah, yeah.
trying to make something new, not trying to recreate something that came from their tradition. So but yeah, I think like when I was 16 years old, I went to West Africa for the first time, and that was when I met Jimba, the drums. And it ignited something in me that I didn't know I had. And I feel maybe now that it's a good time to, I feel like I've been in a circle, then go back to the place where my flame for popular moving music and rhythm and all those things, go back to where that started. And that's where it started.
Oh, I
And then I
love
would
that.
just have like amazing team with a wonderful producer and an engineer
Yeah.
and yeah.
And then you bring it back here and you master it at Real World Studios.
Oh, okay. I don't know Real World Studios.
Real World Studios is owned by Peter Gabriel. But
Oh, there you go.
it's
Okay.
yeah. So, but Real World, his label is very much based around sort of world music. So
Okay.
you should check it out. It's a beautiful place to record if you ever get a chance.
That's great. It could also be
Yeah.
fun though to have someone like a hip hop, like a old school hip hop producer or something, bring that person along to kind of like, what would you do if you have these
Oh, now
chords?
you're talking. Now
You
you're
have like,
talking. Listen
what
to
would you
this.
do with that? Because I mean, old school hip hop is like
I'm
also at the
gonna
core.
have to check something though before you can make this all happen, Ida, which is what are your shoes looking like?
My shoes.
Your
My
shoes, yeah.
shoes.
Yeah.
Do you want me to get a pair of shoes?
Well, I just need to know, do they have diamonds on the soles?
I find you're making a joke now.
Yay.
You know what? They got a whole lot of wonderful sweat in them from me grinding it.
A wonderful life in them.
Yeah.
They've been places. That's all we needed to know. That's all we needed to know. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. And thank you for unveiling a little bit more about the influences and where your music comes from, and we look forward to hearing stuff in the future. One artist that came to mind whilst I was listening to you, and I don't know why, but this sometimes happens, but I'd pulled out one of her albums yesterday to listen to, and I kind of felt that there was some kind of connection there between the two, and I have to let people know that when it happens. Was Jonas Policewoman. I don't know. Have you ever listened to Jonas Policewoman?
Oh my word. Jonas Policewoman. Oh my word. That is so crazy that you say that. That is so crazy.
Go on then. Why is that?
I have to tell this little story. I have to tell it. You can edit it out, but you got to have it. All right. When I was in the Rhythmic Music Conservatory in Denmark, it's like, popular music university thing. There was this free concert, and it was Jonas Policewoman who was coming and play there. And she was just going to play with her acoustic guitar. It's many years ago. Maybe it's like 9 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, 10 years ago. And it was a free concert. So I'm there and I was sitting in the audience. And then this American woman with this very American accent was sitting down and was playing her guitar. And she started to play. And this doesn't happen often for me, though I'm emotional as a person. It doesn't happen often with art. But it was like somebody had just unveiled my heart and found the spot in my heart where it hurt the most. And I just completely was crying all over the place. I couldn't stop crying. And I was crying and I was crying and I was not like, but like it was running. My nose was running. Everything was running. I was like, what do I do? And I was like remembering doing like this with my sleeve all the time. And I think like one thought that I remembered when I saw it was like, I think the reason why I cry, because there's something that shows me in the future. And I feel like I resonate with that. When I saw her, I felt like I resonate with her, like a bit like seeing myself in the future. And it was such a huge experience to me. I was like so moved that one of the teachers said like, you know what, she's playing at a venue at town tonight. So, I'll make sure you get a free ticket. And then I went to see her again at the show in the evening time. But yeah, it was a bit of a revelation.
Well, there you go.
I love it.
I don't know why I had to share that with you. I don't know why, but I'm glad I did.
She's so soulful. I just love that. She's so soulful.
Yeah, I just felt there was a resonance. So that happens, this happens with music. There you go. I'm going to tag her in because we've had conversations online. I'm going to tag her in and hopefully she'll see this and, maybe you'll end up working together. Who knows?
John, you are so soulful. You touch my heart.
There we go. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Ida, thanks so much for coming on. You've been an absolute pleasure to talk to. So enlightening as this morning, being able to talk to you and find out more about your music. Folks, please go and do the same. Go and check out the music now. You've heard the story. Now check out the music. That's what this is all about. Just want to open your eyes to the artists that are out there. You now understand a little bit more of the journey. Now go and check out the results of the journey, and let Ida know how you feel about it when you listen to the music. That's the important thing.
Let's Rewild the World is the latest single. The Power of This Woman is the first single. 20th of March, you have a really badass single coming out. let me know what you think.
I love that. A little plug right at the end there, just to make it all happen. Go and check it out. Thanks so much for coming on today. Folks, if you've enjoyed this has been My Music. Please do go and share it amongst your friends, etc. Do give us a follow, or if you're listening on Spotify, it really helps every time that someone presses the follow button. Thank you. We shall be adding one of Ida's tracks, probably the latest song, to the My Music podcast playlist. Please do circulate that as well amongst your friends. You've been doing a great job of that already, but I do thank you for doing it. Until next time.